Hi there. My name is Kay Moon, and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel. And this is a video about the Cancer full moon that took place on January 13th at 5:26 p.m. Eastern. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a time zone converter for your local time. Here is our full moon right there at the 23rd degree of Cancer. It has a lot of very interesting aspects that it is making. The full moon in Cancer is conjunct a retrograde Mars here. We also see this full moon is sextile Uranus. Mars is motivation. Uranus is the hand of God, the divine energy. We see a trine to Juno and Scorpio. She is our divine feminine energy as wife of husband Jupiter. We also see Where is it? We also see a square to Lilith in Libra there. Lilith in Libra likes to do things her own way in partnership. And we see a square to Chiron in Aries there, inviting us into some self love as we experience the energy of this full moon. We see a trine to Neptune in Pisces right up here, bringing in a little bit more of the spirituality aspects, the imagination, creativity, intuition. And we have a loose trine to Saturn conjunct Nessus in Pisces here, demanding certain integrity and wholeness, and a loose opposition to Pluto here, empowering us through having us confront our shadow. This is a big full moon for making corrections in love and money and an opportunity to do things in a new way after identifying what's not working. Okay. I'm going to get into a few more details about this recap, but you should know before you listen to this in totality, if you're new here, welcome. This is part 2 to the Lightworker Energy Update, where I covered this energy in depth. In this video, I'll just be focused on Juno and Jupiter, husband and wife of Mount Olympus, and divine masculine and feminine of the zodiac. And if you'd like to get a fuller picture of why I'm interpreting what I'm seeing for them the way I am, listen to that first. Come on back to this. Readings are available this week, both the 1 hour and 30-minute sessions, Wednesday and Friday. If the energy of this year has gotten off to a rocky start, now's a great time to book, especially if you're carrying any heaviness left over from last year. There's certainly a reason for that with Juno retrograde and shadow right now, having started in December. So if you're feeling like, okay, yeah, I need some guidance and support, especially when it comes to connection, there are a lot of answers in your chart, not necessarily your counterpart's chart. And I'll show you how to see those and work with the energy so that you can set yourself up for greater opportunities for union in the third dimension. Now's the time to book. My heart goes out to all of our star family impacted by the wildfires in California. Please, please know that my heart is with you. I am praying for you and keeping this situation in the light for the highest possible outcomes for everyone involved. Please stay safe. And lastly, I'm doing some lives with members of our star family that have YouTube channels. I already did a Venus retrograde special with Dark Skin Tarot. You can find that here on this channel. Got a Juno retrograde special with Lee and Sherry over on their YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking with Allie from Allie's Tarot tomorrow and other friends. Look for the full calendar update over in the community section, as well as links to anything you may have missed. Best way to stay informed is to be on the private list. Link to join that is below the video, and it's free. Definitely check out these videos for key dates, themes, and important tips to navigate the first 6 months of 2025, especially in love. It's going to be an insane year in love and money. So buckle up, star family. We got work to do. To be completely honest, because specifically of the journey Juno is about to go through as the divine feminine energy, this is going to be one of the tougher years when it comes to love and money, where there are undealt with shadows in these two areas that stand in between us and what we want in love in particular. The planets are going to help us face these things, and in some case, what's in the way in love is a money issue. debt, under earning, overspending, bad investments, no savings, managing an inheritance, financial codependency, etc. You get the idea. This is the year where we get to overcome those challenges by facing them in full. Okay. Now we're already in the preview stage of what those challenges entail for Juno, the divine feminine energy, since December 21st. We continue to see the preview energy until March 19th, when Juno will turn retrograde. Juno will come out to the first degree here of Sagittarius, then back up to, I think, about the 16th degree of Scorpio, then go forward again. Okay. We'll continue to see the preview energy until March 19th, when Juno will turn retrograde. The rest of the pre-shadow period between now and then, pay attention to what shows up in love and money to help illuminate what the planets are trying to help you overcome to get you more of the best in your connection. So let's dive in deeper with the divine feminine energy at this time and which things will have been illuminated by this full moon. We see Juno there in Scorpio at the 22nd degree. This makes this full moon more impactful for her journey. I think I said new moon, but I meant full moon. I know it's a full moon. You know it's a full moon. Even if my mouth misses that it's a full moon, trust me, my mind knows it's a full moon. So here she is. And this full moon is more impactful for her because she is playing a starring role in aspecting the full moon. Everything I said in the lunar update for light workers will apply doubly so and especially so for divine feminine energies at this time. And you'll feel the pull to take corrective actions in life regarding love and money. We also see that she is trying to Neptune, Nessus, and Saturn there in Pisces. This opens up a grand water trine, okay? So we have occupation in all three water signs at roughly about the same degrees by different luminary bodies. That's what makes it, quote, grand. This will open up for some a lot of emotionality. You may find emotions running very high at this Cancer full moon, especially if you have a lot of water placements in your chart. For others, this may cause you to feel more deeply and spiritually connected, especially to your higher self, your intuition, and your creativity. For all of us, this will help us to see what's not serving under a spotlight and release it by ending it or cutting ties with it. Now, you may not fully understand or see it yet, but slowly the universe over the course of 2025 is going to present certain signals that it is time to restructure an area of our life and the way we do connection and handle resources in that area. And the core resources are time, money, energy, aka health. So pay attention to uncomfortable feelings, interactions, financial challenges that show themselves now, as they are indicative of what may need attention as Juno goes retrograde March 19th through July 10th. The second interpretation here has to do with the Neptune and Pisces in trine with the divine feminine energy. I want to highlight that a little more directly for us because she will speak to Neptune 3 different times, and this is an important energy to understand. This is opening up a space for faith and trust in the connection's organic process for establishing itself in the third dimension. Some of the very things presenting themselves now, while they may seem like they have nothing to do with your connection, it could be a move, a financial overhaul to accommodate living in a new income bracket that's over or under what you were used to in the last chapter of your life. It could be transforming the relationship with your child's other parent to one of harmony and releasing the strife between the two of you. It could be getting your kids the help they need to flourish. It could be handling a health issue with your body or a body image issue. Whatever is presenting itself now as demanding attention in the third dimension. It could even feel like it's nagging you a bit right now. Thank you, Nessus. This is the time to handle it. Okay? Because whether you know it or not, this thing that's showing itself, it is your connection, not your counterpart, but your connection. And it's two different things. The connection is its own entity and energy. Your connection has seen this thing, and it has already seen, until this thing is handled, resolved, and dealt with, it is going to be a major barrier to you having the union that you came here to the third dimension to experience with your counterpart. Further, the Neptune component is inviting us into the faith and the trust in the divine, the universe, God, your higher selves, and the connection itself. Since Juno is the governor of all connection, she is the spousal contract, right? This Neptune energy is inviting us into trust that love is not going to bring you this far to leave you. Even if things do look grim, or like there's no hope, or like it's all over between you and your person for whatever reason, this Neptunian energy combined with Juno is helping break up habituated ways of living in connection that may be a part of your shadow. Now, it's so easy for all of us to look out at the counterpart and say, see their shadow with 20/20 vision. This Neptune thing is going to help us see our own shadow with a bit more clarity, and so too will Saturn. This is what constitutes why it's going to be a little bit of a little tougher journey. Scorpio specifically deals with the shadow side. We have a lot of shadow work in the divine feminine energy fields to do this year. Some of you have already done a lot of it, and that's fine. Scorpio also deals with other people's money. Some of you already know you need to clean up your finances now that you're done with shadow work. Scorpio also deals with physical intimacy. Some of you know you need to handle your blocks in the arena of physical intimacy. You need to deal with your hormones. You need to deal with the trauma in this area from your past at a deeper level, in a deeper way. You need to reestablish that bond with your sacral chakra, okay, in the physical dimension. And so if it's not shadow work, it's going to be one of the other two, dealing with the money thing, dealing with the physical intimacy thing. For some of you, it's going to be all three or a combination of the two, right? But this is the year to really overcome that block to manifesting the fullness of the connection in the third dimension, even if it doesn't feel like it's related, right? Some of you are like, why would my debt to the IRS be related to my connection? Well, because when you technically get married in the United States, at least, your spouse actually becomes contractually liable for some of your debts in certain circumstances, right? It may not be IRS debt, it may be some other kind of debt. You need to read the fine print to understand it. And so, all the manifesting of union will only go so far if the space and structure for it in the third dimension isn't established. And so as we get into the sacral chakra energy of Juno and Scorpio, there's a real push, pull, and demand in the divine feminine energy fields to handle any sacral chakra blocks that we may have to the fulfillment of our manifestations in the third dimension. Okay. And so you will know what that is for you personally. But if you don't, your chart will certainly reveal it. We'll just take a look at where this retrograde is happening in your chart. And I will also say the Neptunian component here is asking us to walk by faith and not by sight and trust the process, especially if it's like, it doesn't even seem like this should be connected. Believe me, if it's showing itself in 2025, it's connected. With that being said, at the end of this month, some of you remember from last year, I got ready to host a program with my spiritual mentor about really cultivating union in a deeper, richer way, moving out of the space of constantly looping and healing and stepping into having and your divine creatorship around connection. We are going to launch that at the end of this month. So if you're not on the private list, I think you should get on it right now. This is going to be the most potent program I've ever offered for twin flames, and very likely the last one. I strongly recommend you join this one if you've never done another twin flame divine connection program with me. This is the one that will change your life. When I tell you what I've learned from this woman has turned my connection around 180 degrees after 7 or 8 years of like chaos and crazy, to now like being 180 degrees away from that. Trust me, you want to hear what she's going to say. We're going to do a live on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell, get on the private list. They get special pricing. You want that. Link to do that is below this video. Now, the other thing going on here with the divine feminine energy that's important for you to understand is this Uranian influence. There we go. Can't even draw a straight line when I'm talking about Uranus. Jeez Louise. Uranus is the hand of the divine. It's the original divine counterpart created by Gaia before Mount Olympus even existed, to wrap around her and be her partner. Uranus is lightning energy. It's electricity. It moves fast, quantum leaps. It is the energy of surprises, the unexpected, the unpredictable, the liberating, the revolutionary, and the evolutionary. It is also shocking. We get a signal of this when it comes to partnership and connection at this time, because there's such an exact opposition between Juno and Uranus. Now, if you've had some sort of shakeup or surprise in connection or in money at this time, know that, thank you, Uranus. Uranus has brought this up so that you can begin the process of dealing with any shadow in the way of your liberation in those two areas. Okay. Uranus is in one of the signs that deal with money, Taurus. Juno is in the other sign that deals with money. That's Scorpio. And so, with both of these, the resource signs, again, core resources, money, health and well being or energy, and time. If you've had any shocks or surprises to do with these core areas of resource, know that we are going to have the opportunity to work through this. Something may show up at this time as an inconvenience or a challenge, but it is meant to liberate us in the long term and elevate us. Also, if this should cause some sudden changes in the status of your connection, expect whatever shifted in present time to change after Juno goes retrograde and passes over Uranus again in April, and then change one more time once Juno crosses over Uranus the final time in October. Juno will touch Uranus 3 times by opposition. And because of Uranus's revolutionary, evolutionary energy, even if it changed, the best thing I can tell you is deal with whatever emotions have come up about it, face them, embrace the change, but know that whatever change is there, it's not going to stay that way. Another change will come, and then a final change will come before things start to establish themselves in greater harmony in the third dimension. We also see that she is sextile here to Pluto. This will add an element of empowerment to the equation, a sense that we can do this. Whatever it is that we are being shown needs to be changed at this time. The Plutonian element is saying, hey, let's just turn toward these more challenging emotions, any sort of shadow energy. As we turn toward it, we get to pick up our power. One thing of note here that seems, I really want to make sure I share this. Here's Juno, the wife. Here's Jupiter, the husband. They're not in a conversation, astrologically speaking, that represents ease or flow or harmony at all. This is the conversation called the inconjunct, which many astrologers understand to be no conversation at all. When the divine counterparts are in no conversation in the sky, it can make, um, for some who feel planetary energies very deeply, it can make it difficult to connect in the third dimension. Basically, on different pages, different frequencies, different harmonics that don't operate harmoniously together. Okay. Now, this does not mean you and your counterpart are going to suddenly fly into some sort of separation and not talk to each other until the next union window. I've heard some people interpreting union window information like that, and that's not accurate. I have tried my best to be as thorough as possible in explaining union window energies. We will have some coming up at the tail end of this year as Jupiter moves into Cancer, water sign Cancer, and Juno wraps up her retrograde in October. They do land in a union window energy. But the interesting thing about union windows is that they just pull on us to get into communication, connection in the third dimension. They don't guarantee it. They guarantee that we're going to feel pushed to do it ourselves because they're not going to trump our free will. You have to do it. You have to choose it, right? And with that in mind, if you're already sitting here listening to me going, K Moon, I have chosen it. It's my person's fault. They're not choosing it. I promise you, there is something in you that they are reflecting back to you in the not choosing you. With that said, some of the work I'm getting ready to do with my spiritual mentor, with you guys in the workshop we're launching at the tail end of this month, will help you see it, overcome it, and move past it. So that this is your last year in separation energies and frequencies. But this in conjunction is very important because what it allows and permits for us is for our inner divine feminine energy to be on this transformative journey and our divine masculine energy to be doing something that's a little bit lighter. This means that together you have a lot of solutions available through your inner divine masculine energy fields. And I'll talk to you about why that is in a moment. While your divine feminine energy field is doing a deeper excavation and transformation work. It can be the inconjuncts can actually be really helpful in connection in this way so that both people aren't going through something heavy at the same time. If you're more focused, I'm the divine feminine, they are the divine masculine. But for people who have a more balanced, integrated, I am feminine and masculine, and you recognize yourself in both pieces of the journey, as I talk about it here, you'll be able to see, oh, I see how my masculine is supporting my feminine. Oh, I see how doing this thing in my feminine energy is going to help expand my masculine energy's capacity to also be with me from the inside. Establishing that inner union is foundation for establishing the external union. Okay. Now, this is a huge opportunity if you are in some sort of separation to trust your connection. Love will not bring you this far to leave you. I promise you, there's still more to come, especially if you're still here listening to me. Um, Huge opportunity to trust and to just trust the step in front of you and take it, knowing that it will lead to more. Now, for those who identify in some format of union in their connection, this is where you may see life pull you both in some different directions when it comes to what you're working on, as both of your inner DF energies are initiated into a deeper journey of personal transformation this year. Now, again, it's going to help you deepen your connection through having you both embark upon the process of embracing and integrating certain elements of your shadow self, welcoming their messages for you individually, and then sharing what you've discovered in your connection for deeper intimacy with your counterpart. You may find some tougher conversations have already started to unfold in the connection. You may also have found that you're both guided into deeper aspects of personal transformation at this time and need time to yourselves to process all that's been unfolding within since the end of December. Okay. Great time to get a couples reading that is 90 minutes. Think of it a little bit like a couples massage where two people can come together and get some healing together through understanding each other's uniqueness. But if you are working solo at this time, totally not a problem. Book that personal reading. We can map out your journey and what your connection is asking of you at this time. Okay. Let's talk about the divine masculine's energy. That is Jupiter retrograde here in Gemini. Collectively, this has allowed our interior DM energy to be on a much more light-hearted, curiosity-infused journey. For those who consider themselves already experiencing some form of inner or spiritual union, this is going to illuminate for you where solutions, options, and opportunities are to the blocks that are revealed in your inner divine feminine energy. Outwardly in the light, this has created a lot of opportunities for the divine masculine dominant counterpart to experiment with growth opportunities. For some, and I've mentioned this in other lunar updates, this has created an issue with triangulation or exacerbated an existing issue with triangulation since Jupiter is in the sign of doubles, Gemini. Keeping two connections going instead of focusing the energy on one could be its expression, no judgment, just saying it can happen. And to keep the energy moving in the light, having conversations about open relationships, polyamory, and needs and boundaries with everyone involved is going to work really well right now. Given the other aspects to Jupiter here, now is especially the time to do that, with Jupiter preparing to move into water sign Cancer in June. The sign of mothers and families, especially if there are kids involved. While Jupiter is in air sign Gemini, we get the advantage of not being so overrun by emotion. We also get the advantage of everyone in the conversation having access to more mental bandwidth and curiosity, open mindedness, and flexibility. Once we're in Jupiter and Cancer season, which will last about a year, June to June, emotions are going to run a lot higher for all of us collectively. So now is a great time to make either a decision or bring the shadow aspects of love triangles into the light. So everything is above board with everyone involved. Now, another interpretation for the non triangulated here is that since last June through this June, when Jupiter has been in Gemini, you may find yourself, quote, in between in some area of life, trying to cross from one side to another, exploring best ways to do that. Could be work, financial situations, home or living, family dynamics, such as transitioning a parent or a child to their next stage of living in their journey, work or home wise. And lastly, with Jupiter and Gemini, many have found that the divine masculine dominant partner may have come back into some form of communication in the connection if you have been separated. Again, this would have been since last June. It extends into this June. If there have been some silence, there's been some silence since October, not to worry. That's just Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter does go direct in our communication sign in February. So communication may resume at that time. For a deeper look at how all of this may play a role for you personally, definitely book a reading. It can help you understand how to work with your interior divine masculine and feminine energy to create that inner union. That's the platform for union in the third dimension. Okay. Now we do see Jupiter trine Makemake, the shaman's asteroid there in Libra. We see a trine to Ceres conjunct Chariclo there in Aquarius. Okay. This grand air trine has us focus on what we have learned through the past to bring forward best case scenarios in our life. Jupiter is in one of the signs of learning step by step. We see Shaman's asteroid here in the sign of partnership. Shaman's asteroid talks about going on a journey and bringing back wisdom for your tribe. And then Ceres here talks about closures and completions, but it's the minute we've closed something out that may not be working for us, Chariclo there is ready to bring in a blessing, an unexpected blessing in the sign of Aquarius for our Jupiter divine masculine energy. So trust that process if that's something that you may be experiencing. Okay. Let's see here. We see a sextile to Chiron in Aries for Jupiter right here. This can bring forward the teacher and guide within us. It can be used to facilitate our own healing, which will also help us resolve and put to bed some of our abandonment wounds and rejection stories. It is hard to believe, but divine masculine dominant partners can also have abandonment wounds and rejection stories. This Chiron in Aries thing has worked overtime since 2018 to help us put an end to this identity in ourselves and begin to move towards self acceptance, allowingness, approval, and appreciation based on our unique and individual natures. This is going to be our last full year collectively with Chiron in Aries. So, for some of us in our lifetimes, so my encouragement here is to milk this for both you and your counterpart. These four, acceptance, allowingness, approval, and appreciation, are a huge separation dissolver energetically. And with Jupiter in Gemini, sextile Chiron in Aries, this is a momentous opportunity to see how everything that's unfolded in you and in your connection so far has benefited and served you, even when it's been hard to experience or hard to understand. Training the brain to focus on what we're grateful for in ourselves and in our counterpart can also transform stuck mindsets for those who find themselves in the state of habituated separation as well, where it's just so comfortable to be separated that you miss your opportunities for union when they show up. I see that a lot. So, again, you want to be doing this workshop with my mentor and myself at the end of this month. Definitely be on the list so you can get the savings. Jupiter is also square Venus here, Saturn and Nessus in Pisces as well. Now, this part right here, this is where the growth edge is for the divine masculine energy, where Jupiter and Gemini energy has gotten carried away with indecisive shenanigans, the shadow of Jupiter and Gemini, or superficiality, non-committalness, and avoidance of connection, more shadow of Jupiter and Gemini, or secretive triangulation and self-splitting, hearts over here, bodies over there, minds over here in a third location. Still the shadow side of Jupiter and Gemini. Saturn has been working overtime to clean this up in the divine masculine energy fields. Male or female, we all have masculine and feminine energy. This has been in place since June, July of last year and will remain potent through June, July of this year, right alongside the Jupiter and Gemini timeframe. So kind of keeping it in check. Saturn's energy is one that demands wholeness, no splitting, and that everything is above board, aligned, and congruent and timely. The challenge is Jupiter and Gemini may not always have the clarity it needs to operate in this manner. So, again, know that Saturn is trying to help keep things from getting too up in the air, letting us have too much double mindedness and working against ourselves and what we know we want. So, if you're on the receiving end of confused behavior and connection, or from others generally in your life, Just know that the planets have your back. If you are the confused person in a connection or just generally in your life, just know for sure and not sure which direction to go, know that the planets have your back too, especially the Juno in Scorpio part. Your inner divine feminine energy will be working overtime this year to help you see where the blocks are within you with greater clarity so you can come out of confusion and land where you want to be. Saturn and Nessus here are also adding extra pressure to bring things into alignment with a sense of self acceptance, approval, allowingness, and appreciation. Nessus is also helping us face tough choices by holding our fingers to the fire. Now, for those who identify their connection in some format of union, you'll find that this lunation, Jupiter and Gemini, will reveal for both counterparts where some level of interior decisions must be made to move not just the connection forward, but also your individual lives. You're also going to get the chance to see why you may have held back from these decisions. We're at a point now where not making choices is more uncomfortable than delaying or avoiding more shadow side of Gemini. So know that the more you're able to lean into trusting your process, accepting who you are, and making choices aligned with that, the better connection, work, money, family, everything gets from here. With Jupiter and Gemini, it can be easier to make our choices based on who we want to be, not on who we are. But let me give you an example of how crazy that is and what I'm talking about here. That's as crazy as me thinking I can be my own bookkeeper. I have no business trying to be my own bookkeeper given my track record. I am excellent when I do it, but I hate doing it, so I avoid it. I keep thinking I'm going to change because it's so important, and no, just no, no, no. I need to stop asking myself to be a different person and instead create a life that fits the person I am and just hire a doggone bookkeeper already. I've been in business way too many years and decades, and on earth way too long to think I'm gonna change this. Can I change? Yes. But is that how I want to spend and use my precious creative energy and time? Absolutely not. I've accepted it. Thank you so much, Chiron. Okay. I've learned some tough lessons about it. Thank you so much, Make Make and Lilith down here in Libra, right? And I'm done with the BS and mess that I have created around it. Bless series, because I'm over myself. I don't need to do this. Now that I have landed at what I need to do, I can get the blessing available from Cheroklo up here in Aquarius as I interview bookkeepers. Okay. So that's an example of the process unfolding in the divine masculine energy fields. It's a recognition of where we need to get up off our own BS and just explore new options to existing challenges. Now, for me, this is a money and work thing based on where these planets and asteroids land in my chart. Okay. But for you, it could be anything depending upon where this configuration is in your chart. Again, the final message here is really to trust your process and your connection. It may seem bookkeeping has nothing to do with my union, but after talking about my money with my person, I'm like, oh, yeah, your bookkeeping, you do need to bring that into alignment if y'all are going to move forward. You can't continue to have chaos over here, girl. It's messing up the groundedness of the connection in the third dimension. So, seems to be unrelated. It's definitely related. You get the idea? Good. Hit the like button on the way out. It's always a pleasure to do this for you guys. Absolutely love you. Happy New Year. And please know that if you need to find me for a reading to check out where the year is headed for you, I'm right over at kmoonastro.com. Can't wait to talk. Take great care and bye for now.